Hello, welcome to Furious Driving, and the last time you saw this car, the Volvo 740, it was doing this to me. I have noticed the steam coming out from in front of the radiator grille on the Volvo when I arrived. This has happened to me before in this car. I'm not quite sure if this is... Yep, that was just a loose Jubilee clip. Oh no, it's not. It's not a loose Jubilee clip. The end of the radiator has snapped off. Oh no, I need a new radiator before I can drive this car home. That's not a good thing. Yes, it was trying to kill me, or at least maim me quite severely, but no, you failed. You just merely gave me quite a start. It could have been actually quite nasty when that hose blew. I wasn't actually touching it, but I was just reaching down to go and fiddle with the Jubilee clip when the end of the radiator just sheared off and blasted the entire, well, half the contents of the cooling system across the engine bay and everything else near it. But so now we have a solution. As you can see, the car is back home. Clearly it didn't walk on its own. So stepping back a couple of days, I managed to do a bit of a fix to it. But before we go and show you that, let's show you this. I just want to take a moment to mention this incredible Eagle Must Build a Back to the Future DeLorean kit series, which comes not only with this wonderful binder, but a complete series of in-depth magazines all about the history of the film, the car, the actors, the trivia behind the scenes, and you know I love all that kind of stuff, but not as much as I am loving this kit. This is an astonishing 1/8 scale, which is absolutely vast. The level of detail on this thing is just phenomenal. You build a separate sub-assembly with every issue, everything from the wheels, the Volvo PRV V6 engine, which lived in the back of the DeLorean. Now head to the link in the description below to get your first instalment, which includes issues 1 and 2 of the magazine, plus 2 kits to get you started. The first one, rather excitingly, includes your first bit of brushed stainless steel, or metal, bodywork, and you'll also get 50% off your second kit, which includes 4 more magazines and 4 more sections of the kit when you subscribe. Now I'm just loving the insane level of detail you get here. Working suspension and steering, incredible moulding detail on things like the gearbox, which are going to be hidden well inside there. It's complex but huge fun and not difficult. It even comes with a magnetic screwdriver you need and plenty of spare screws, so if you drop a couple it doesn't matter too much. Right, now I'm going to leave you to get on with the video while I carry on building some more of this. I think I'm on to assembling some bodywork. Hello, I am back here with the Volvo, a car we've not seen for a week or two, ever since it decided to explode its radiator. I've had a bit of a battle finding a new radiator. My local motor factories are really good. Struggled because there's 2 different radiators for this year, and the one that this car is wasn't in stock. Secondly, we struggled trying to import one from abroad at the moment. They usual suspects who are good at importing Volvo stuff didn't know where to begin with all the customs documents, but then I found one for £30 on eBay. It's a Nissan's one. This is the original Volvo radiator here in the car, still stamped Volvo. It's a shame not to have it in the car anymore, but yeah, there you go. Things don't last forever. This is, well, 1988 car, so that's pushing many years. I've been told reliably on the internet there's only a couple of screws you need to change these radiators over, so let's see if we can change the radiator here at my friend's place. Right, let's start off with an easy one. This is the Jubilee clip clamp, hose clamp, on the smashed up bit of radiator. It'd be quite fun to actually see the state of the plastic inside there. I thought this was a metal radiator at first. I was surprised to find it had plastic components on it. Easy. That was easy because I did change this not so long ago. Oops. Yeah, that's really, really brittle. Yeah, there we go. Let's not let that suck into the impeller of the pump later on. Well, one down. That was easy. Oh, a clip. I didn't bring a clip clamp. Hang on, I've got, in my camera bag, I've got a multi-tool. Always a multi-tool in the camera bag. If ever you go to a place where photographers work, like a newspaper or a magazine or anything like that at all, anyone needs to borrow a multi-tool, a pair of pliers, mole grips, zip ties, that kind of stuff, the response is always, go and ask a photographer. They'll have one in their camera bag. There we go. Okay, 2 things done. This is proving too easy for words. What will go wrong soon? Right, so how does this come off? That needs to come undone as well. There's a hose down. This looks like a relatively recent hose, this smaller side one. Now, fortunately, I did change the Jubilee clips not that long ago on these things when that Jubilee clip busted on this. So this hopefully won't be too big a job. 1, 2, whoops, 3, number 4. Then after that, we just have these 2 screws here holding the fan shroud on, and 2 bolts holding the radiator in, as far as I can tell. It should not be too hard, I hope. I wasn't sure how much coolant was left in the system because it was venting quite violently out of here and gushing like crazy. But this drain pipe here is just trickling a little bit of coolant, so I'm guessing the radiator is actually half full, which is more full than I was hoping it was going to be. I don't think I brought anything to drain it into, apart from the big cardboard box that the new radiator's just arrived in, which will not be waterproof. Okay, let's do everything apart from that. See about getting the shroud off. If I can get the shroud on, crikey, that's tight. There we go. Fortunately, it's all more largely plastic, so it's not rusted in too much. That just, is that screw at the bottom? No, it just lifts out, I think. Yep, just lifts out. Well, as far as I can, because there's a fan around it still. Now I can undo that last one. I actually did this one up with a socket, I now remember. And the worst thing about doing screws and things with gloves on is that they kind of snag or grip onto the screwdriver handle, and after a short time they start kind of winding the glove around your hand, so it's kind of all tangled up in there. Makes it kind of tricky. Right, that is now free, and that's going to go everywhere, but I need to find something to drain that into. Damn, didn't think of that. There's always something. Now finally, just need to undo these 2, I'm guessing 10mm. What I guess. Let's crack it off with the Hugga gun. Whoop whoop. Yep, free. So the radiator is now only held in by that one hose, and loads of liquid's going to go everywhere. I need to find something to put that into. Problem. Okay. So luckily my friend was in, and I've found an old like curver box, B&Q box, whatever you call these things. Plastic tray to collect as much water as I can, or coolant. Well, it's a shame because this has only changed very recently, but my critics who said, oh, you didn't put deionized water in the radiator when you changed it, their criticisms can now be answered because I get the opportunity to change it again. Oh dear, every time I move the radiator or squeeze the pipe, it pumps coolant out over the lower hose. It makes the lower hose even more slippery. Not perfect. Suboptimal, I believe is our phrase. I had to order a load of printer ink this week and made sure I went to get a bunch of the Viking blue rolls, big multi-pack of blue rolls for the garage and the workshop, because they are invaluable for this kind of job. Okay, going in with big screwdriver. Sorry, I can't get the camera in there as well to view this because it's a two-handed job. I thought this would come off way more easily than this because it's been off already. Oh! Yep, that's free. There you go, instant coolant flush. So if the radiator wasn't flushed enough already, or the cooling system wasn't flushed enough already, it definitely is now. All the grunk that was in the system, maybe didn't get flushed last time, is being thoroughly flushed again. So hey, good news. So here is the new one. As I say, it's a used one off eBay because there was no sign of a new one in the UK that I could get hold of. Yeah, this is the same. We've got hose, side hose. This one has got, this is a block heater or something. If anyone knows what this is, let me know. If this is a block heater, that would be amazing, or a radiator preheater or something. And this is the elbow that's sheared off. And this is a Nissan's one, which is like a really good brand for radiators, Danish. So hopefully that will be a good thing to put in the car. Now if I wasn't in someone else's driveway and it wasn't pretty cold, I would actually be taking a bit of sandpaper, wire brush and some rust-proof paint to this lower strut, not what do you call it, cross-member thingy bit here, because that is not crusty, but it's not nice. That certainly wants a bit of paint on it. So what I might just do is fill this with plain water and then drive it home and then take the radiator out again at home. You know, obviously I've got to get the car mobile, and give that a bit of a clean up, because that would be nice to get that rust proofed and save any future problems. Right, in we go, in with the new, well, less old. So first off, whoops, on goes that lower hose, which was actually quite stubborn coming off before, and I'll tighten that up, oops, while the shroud's off, because that was really quite tricky working around that. One down, job's a good one. So top one while I'm here. Now looking at these hoses, I think it may not be a bad idea to go and find myself a new set of these hoses, because I don't want these failing in the future, as other parts in their vicinity have now failed. Jubilee clips, or hose clamps I should say. Let's be specifically non-specific, I don't know what we want to call it. It'd be good to have them changed. Also, I'm told these tank caps do fail as well, so it wouldn't be a bad idea to get a new one of them. I wonder if I can still get one of those from Volvo. It'd be nice if I could, because that would keep it all lovely and original. Oh no! This hose is a different diameter. Sorry, I'm a fool. There are two hoses here. The big one goes here, and the little one goes on the top. I'm an idiot! Yeah, there's a total of 5 items. That was too many for me. Shroud goes on. There we go. Actually, this could do with a bit of black paint as well while I'm painting the bottom part. Oh, I see. Yeah, that goes on over that bit there. I kind of forgotten how it came off after a whole 30 seconds. This doesn't fit square. I think this is a slightly different radiator. Using the manual ratchet because I don't want to be rattling it into the whole thing too hard. So there we have, new radiator installed. The total of 5 hoses, which I eventually figured out, all connected. Randomly wondering what this thing is. Maybe it is a block preheater of some kind, or an extra temperature sensor this particular car doesn't have. I'm a little unsure. I don't know why it's sitting off to the right like that, because it seems to be sitting in the grooves at the bottom correctly. So I'm going to take this all out again at home, clean up that bottom support area. Also around the back of the engine here, where it was venting and exploding, it's made a right mess of everything. So yeah, this can stay as it is for the time being. So now we are back at home again, and the new radiator is sitting here slightly offset, so I'm going to have a look at the feet underneath it and figure out if they can go sideways a bit. And also, I'm not going to clean it today, it's too cold. I'm going to sort out these crusty bits of paint here and there and refit it all. Now to get it home, I refilled it with plain water because I didn't want to be filling it with new coolant and draining it out again, because I'm going to move this and paint it and, you know, change these hoses and all kinds of other stuff. In fact, I'm undecided about these hoses, to be honest, because they are old but they look good and they're nice and flexible. It's only like £30 to change them, but am I just chucking good money after bad? I don't know, I'm undecided. Anyway, so as I say, I brought it home, plain water, so I could just drop it out of the system again, and it's surprising how much more coolant did flush out with it even after just the plain water circulated in there. Usefully, this fan shroud is big enough that even though it's offset about 1 centimetre, the fan blades turn without scuffing anything at all. When I first started it up, I did notice that the water pump sounded a little bit squeaky, so I don't know if that was just cavitation because it was sucking the water through here, because that was completely drained before. It may have just been that. I'm also noticing that these fan belt, alternator belt things down here do look a little bit tired. I think in the very near future this will get a full service. I'll do all the belts, all the filters. I'll get a genuine Volvo oil filter for it. There's the breather system, the name of which has escaped me for a second. That needs to be, I think it's okay, but I'll just double check it. The rear blocks have this breather that blocks up and oils up. I have to clean that every now and then. Luckily it has had a cam belt not long before I bought the car, so that's well in date, don't need to worry about that. But right now I am going to whip this off. Well, that's interesting. I actually can't move the position of these little feet in the bottom because they are recessed into, well, recesses basically. So I wonder why the new old radiator doesn't fit into these quite as comfortably as it should. Never mind. Right, I'm going to go get a wire brush, clean this up and then hammerite it. Right, so let's get these little plastic holder things out. It's lucky that this is a well-made car with thick metal because it's not really crusted through. It's more surface rust, even though it's been in a damp, horrible area. I'm going to try one of these lava wheels because this is, I don't know, sometimes they work better. But I'm glad I waited till the afternoon when the sun had gone in and the rain had been around. Who would have wanted to do it in the sunshine when it's 3 degrees outside? That really does the back of your legs in leaning over like that. Oh, I've got this other little area here which is being blocked at the bottom by that plastic panel, so I'll whip that off, give me better access. I don't need to take all the paint off because there's good paint in a lot of this area. Since I'm just going to use hammerite, which is straight to metal, straight to rust. Just need to make sure the loose paint's gone and no rust is hiding underneath it. That's better, I can get access to that now. Someone said in the last video, I need to get a cordless drill. You're right, I do, but those are very expensive and the one I've got is rubbish. So I need to spend some money on one sometime soon. Well, it doesn't need to be a brilliant job because it's going to be hidden as long as it's rust proof. This bottle of Talisker Sky finished on Burns night, night before. So it's a shame that's finally finished. Actually, because it was, you know, not exactly a special occasion, but a nice dinner. I did have a really nice bottle of Brachlerich 1992 of Vino Cask Sherry Edition, which is absolutely lovely. Like a real special occasion one. And I discovered there's only like half a glass of that left. So that finished, and then I finished this, which is also only half a glass left. So two of my favourites gone in one night. Also, usefully, we did get the Furious Driving packaging to still use, sorry, the post bag packaging, because we had the recycling day this week, and so most of my cardboard's gone. Now this has been on the radiator indoors for a few minutes. It's actually really nice to warm my hands up on. So I'm not too worried about the finish on this because it's going to be hidden under a radiator. But I don't want it to rust out. So I guess if water has leaked out and been trapped underneath the radiator, I actually would like to get underneath this and to the bottom of this, what do you call it, channel section as well, because that I'm sure will also be a bit grim. But it's horrible and cold and miserable today. And also, doesn't suffer from having to have a radiator put on top of it. Incidentally, while I've been doing this, I have made a decision about these pipes. These, well, they're lovely and flexible. Look how indented they are from the old Jubilee clip. The old Jubilee clip had rotted off and I had to, you know, well, they snapped basically, didn't have to do anything, and replace them with new ones. So I'm thinking these probably are past their first flush of youth, so I'll leave the cooling system empty until I've got a new set of these turn up in a few days' time. That looks quite passable. I'll leave that to dry now. Empty the nozzle. That's what you're meant to do. That comes off quite easily. Thought I was going to have to sand it, but it's just literally peeling off in my fingers. Yeah, I'll give that a quick buzz with this thing. That should probably free it on. Just managed to finagle that out of there with a pair of pliers so I can clean this up a bit better. Actually shines up quite smoothly after a while. I'll tell you what, I'm getting this done very much in the nick of time. This drill is about to die. The motor is firing out great big sparks from the side and it's spluttering and slowing down and speeding up all the time. So that is very much on the scrap heap, I think. Probably not that safe to use anymore. These are all the bolts and screws that hold the cowls to the radiator to these brackets, and all that plastic panelling in place. So given that little spritz of black hammerite, so it looks a bit neater when you lift the bonnet. I've already done the bottom of these ones. You need to wait for that to dry for a second longer. I can flip them over to the top. I'm running against the rain now because it's going to pour down very soon, I think, if it doesn't snow. These actually came up relatively well. Nice and smooth now, so at least when I've got the new paint on, they will look nice. Now while I am quite literally watching paint dry, there is another task I can attend. There's not much that bugs me about this car, but there's one thing, okay, two things. The level of dampness, the condensation on the boot inside, which apparently is a really common 700 problem. Even if the boot isn't leaking, you get this insane condensation up here. No, it's the fact I've got to use a plant pot every time I open the boot because these struts have gone. So when I was ordering a nice new set of ball joints for the Sinclair C5, I ordered a nice new set of boot struts. Look at that, shiny. God, that's really stiff. But I guess there's a lot of weight in that boot, I suppose. Now, let's try and work out how these come apart. Right, so these have a hook at one end, the hook's over at the back. This end is just a little circle, and that goes through. Let's find a torch for you. But that looks like a circlip through the end of that. I thought it was a rivet and I was going to have to drill it out. I wouldn't be able to because the drill just broke, but no, I'll go and try and extract that circlip. That is one tiny circlip for a lot of weight in the boot. Let's put that somewhere safe. Oh, okay. And off that unhooks. Goodbye, my nemesis. Okay, that needs to stay back up there. Ouch. Oh, that's better. Opens all the way now. Well, that was simple. And look, I only changed one so far and already the boot stays where it's put. It doesn't try and decapitate you anymore. What a difference. £40 well spent. So this is a really good torch. Friend Jason gave it to me. Not sure why, he just did. And this is a really cool thing I found online, which is it's a strange sized torch battery for these kind of tactical torches, but it's a USB charging battery. Well, this is very strange because this one, instead of having a circlip, it appears to have a completely, either it's missing its circlip, or it's got a complete collar on it. Oh god, it needs the both struts. Well, this one is really covered in oil, so I guess this hydraulic strut is, well, was burst basically. However, the hooked end would not unhook. It looks like it's mounted, so I'm not showing it in the lens. The hooked end would not unhook, so I think it looks like it's mounted right down the crevice slightly differently. So I'm going to try and screw this one into it. No, it is a hook as well, it just doesn't want to come off. No, the thread's different. Brilliant. Finally got this little plastic end free. What I had to do was get a 1/2 inch socket and hammer that, so when it was just around the pivot point, that was wide enough to just push it backwards and open it out enough. Goodbye. Oh, now it's starting to rain. Where's the new one gone? I've lost the new one. Torch. Torch is where? Need torch, it's dark. VV dark. That's torch. Need a torch to find the torch. That can hook on in there. Okay, so that's on there, but I've got no little inner thing giving it a cushion. Where is it? So I need to take this plastic bit out of here somehow. There we go. Whoops. At least my jacket is partially drying the boot lid. Where's my pliers gone? A little squeeze to get this thing back in its middle bit. Okay, that's now tight. Well, that's fitted, and the plant pot's no longer doing anything. I would like to find a circlip for that really, but that is extremely tight, so I don't think it's going anywhere. Hey, let's move the camera back. So you'll observe, boot is up. God, actually quite stiff to push down now. Boot is down. Boot is up. Boot is down. I could do this right-handed as well. Boot is up. Boot is down. I could do this all day. I won't, it'll get boring. I will get my tools out though. I had loads of water running off here. I'm actually wondering now if the boot dampness problem is no longer the lights or the drains, it's just simply condensation. Nothing I can do about that. Well, it's tomorrow. I had to leave it until the next day because the paint was not drying. It's way too cold out here for all that drying paint malarkey. These bits I left on the radiator indoors on a bit of cardboard obviously, so they dry overnight along with the nuts and bolts, and also the rubber bits on the radiator as well, so that they would go soft, so I could scooch the little mushroom shaped bit back through, and that's a lot better than it was as well. Okay, it's not a perfect colour match, but silver is silver, and when you're under a radiator in the dark of an engine bay, this isn't a concourse restoration, it's rust proof, and that's what matters. Right, let's quickly reassemble this. Right, first an easy one. These are the little things that the radiator sits in, just snap into place. Oops. So this means that the little feet on the bottom of the radiator have no choice but to sit just there. So if things offset, it means the feet are in the wrong place on the radiator. That's dirty. Right, screw this thing back in. Now you've got all these big nuts and bolts which are painted a little bit. And put these big baffles back in place. The smaller ones did that. I'll find the place they go to. Let's do the top one first. God, this engine bay is just vast. It's kind of quite hard to lean into to find things. And this has a big bulldog paperclip thing, just clamping the plastic to another bit of plastic on the bottom. If I can get my hand in there, which I can't. Other bit of plastic, here we go. Oh yeah, it clips on like that. A little clip on the back of it there. And a little screw just there. So back goes the radiator. I can see the feet at the bottom of it. And do they fit? Hang on, let's push a radiator hose on, that'll just hold it in place. Actually they seem to fit now, that's weird. Oh, what do you know? It must have just not been seated properly when it was in there before. What a bonus. I'm actually just seeing a couple of bits where I've missed the paint, or the paint's a bit thin. So I'm going to reassemble everything apart from these clamps. And I'm happy now. Well, that's a relief. I thought I got the wrong radiator and needed to do more exploring, but no, it's all good. What I mustn't forget to do is the shroud. That needs to go in there before anything else. So in goes the shroud. I can tuck out the way from it. In goes the radiator. And hopefully it'll reseat correctly this time again. Whoops. Yeah, that's all lined up again. I reckon it must have been just simply that the plastic feet must have gone wonky as it sat in there. Now I'm going to refit all the pipes, even though I'm not going to use them, but I'm not going to fill it with water, because that means if I need to move the car, I can dump some water in there and shift it where I need to shift it. But I'm not going to have to drain the system if the pipes turn up before I need to shift it. Does that make sense? Well, there's a tip for anyone doing a Volvo 700 radiator. The Jubilee clip on the bottom hose is much easier if you lift the radiator halfway out the engine bay. Aha! I've just realised why it wasn't sitting straight. It's the Jubilee clip. It wasn't the brackets at all, it's Jubilee clamp on the side. When that moves down to the side, it pushes against the chassis rail, which is why I did it up with a socket last time, and it was on the top and difficult to get to. Suddenly it all makes sense. Let's not do it too tight. Problem solved. Pipe fitted, all square. Thank you to Frank who sent this thing, it's been very useful today. I was kind of short on these this particular size of socket, but I want to put a new rail of little 6-siders this week, and that's been really handy. Perfect fit. Ta-da! Okay, apart from taking these off to give these another coat of paint, changing these hoses and getting you one of those caps and putting some coolant in there, done! Job done. Didn't take too long, wasn't too hard. Job was good, car's good for many more miles. I'm doing up that clamp. You may think many YouTubers are absolute idiots who don't do things properly, but the fact is when you're talking to a camera and trying to talk about what you're doing, it's surprising what you forget to actually do because you're concentrating on the camera and the talking and not on the actual job in hand. Done! Again. Right. Apart from the things I've previously mentioned. well, that was brilliant. Volvo, good to go. I need to get some underseal and some more welding done, I think, now on this thing. But it's all good. Great to have the Volvo serviceable once more. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this, please do hit a like and subscribe. I'm shooting for that 50,000 subscriber mark, because that's a big deal in YouTube terms. It doesn't get me a plaque or anything, but it makes me feel happy. Thanks for watching again. Like, subscribe, get a bell notification. Join me again next time. I don't think I'll be working on the Volvo. I might be working on the Volvo. I actually need to do some work on that V8 that's behind me, because that's so close to running. But it's all the niggly bits I just can't be bothered to do. You know, the ones you stand there for 20 minutes trying to work out which bolt goes where, and then you get frustrated, drink another cup of tea, and then go indoors and watch TV instead. It's all that stuff. That's why nothing's really happening on that right now. But it will happen soon, I promise. Right, I'm going to do some other stuff now. I think it's homeschooling time as it's 9 AM. Right, I'll see you very soon. Okay, obviously I didn't just spray more paint on. I wasn't happy with the finish, so I just sanded it all back again to get a nice smooth finish. It's going to be on show in the front of the engine bay after all.